In the heart of Africa, the Serengeti stretches without boundary, a landscape of extraordinary scale, ancient beyond reckoning, and completely without mercy. Across its endless plains of golden grass, life finds every foothold it can. But so does death. The two have coexisted here for longer than either requires acknowledgement, held in a balance that is always closer to breaking than it appears. The great predators that move through this terrain do so with the authority of animals that have earned their place across countless generations of competition. But authority here is not permanent. It is a condition that must be renewed, defended, and sometimes surrendered. The strongest of today becomes the fallen of tomorrow, and the savanna records the transition without sentiment. What takes place on these plains is not simply violence. It is strategy meeting strength, patience meeting speed, experience meeting the raw energy of animals that have nothing to lose. The encounters that define this landscape leave their mark in the dry earth, and the cost of each one is paid by whoever misjudged the moment. And so the question that hangs over the Serengeti, as it has always hung unresolved and unresolvable, remains. Who will hold their position in a place that grants nothing and takes everything? Who will endure when the pressure builds further and the rivals that arrive are more dangerous than the ones that came before? Most of the savanna's animals have already withdrawn into shade, driven there by temperatures that have climbed past 32 degrees Celsius. The cheetah has not stopped. Hunger does not negotiate with the heat. The approach is already underway. Beneath the full force of the midday sun, its eyes resolve movement at distances of several kilometers, and the target is 50 meters away, a warthog alone separated from its group. Padded feet and a gait that keeps the body close to the ground allow the cheetah to cover the distance without producing any sound that reaches the animal ahead. The shrubs level with its belly conceal the lean frame completely. A shape moves through the broken light with the silence of air moving across open ground. The distance drops to 30 meters. The cheetah has entered the zone where the calculation shifts decisively in its favor, where the energy cost of the sprint is lowest and the probability of interception is highest. Within 3 seconds, It reaches 96 kilometers per hour. Each stride covers roughly 7 meters, driven by a spine that compresses and extends like a loaded spring with every cycle. The semi-retractable claws drive into the ground with each contact, generating the traction that makes those speeds sustainable. But the warthog is not a passive participant in what follows. Running at close to half the cheetah's peak speed, around 50 kilometers per hour, the warthog works with what it has: a low center of gravity and a directional unpredictability that breaks the geometry of pursuit. It changes its line continuously in a zigzag pattern that the cheetah must counter with its 80-centimeter tail, swinging it as a counterbalance to hold the trajectory through each abrupt change. Then, an abandoned aardvark burrow appears directly in the path. If the warthog can reach it, the dynamic reverses entirely, tusks angled toward the entrance, the tunnel converted into a defensive position that most predators will not risk entering. Most would abandon the pursuit at this point. This time, hunger overrides the calculation. The cheetah commits and prevails. The warthog's tusks are worth understanding on their own terms. They can measure between 25 and 50 centimeters in length. The warthog enters a burrow exclusively in reverse, head facing outward, tusks presented to anything that approaches. The skull behind those tusks is reinforced with a dense layer of bone. That combination, bone-curved tusk and the narrow geometry of the tunnel entrance, transforms the burrow into something that functions genuinely as a fortress. Any predator that commits its head or a paw to that space risks serious injury. The upper tusks curve and make contact with the lower ones. Each time the jaw closes, a continuous natural sharpening mechanism built into every bite the animal takes. The longer the warthog lives, the more effective those tusks become. But what happens when no burrow is available? The warthog carries its own contingency. An adult male can reach 100 kilograms, and at close to 50 kilometers per hour, a direct charge delivers a force that a lightweight body like the cheetah's cannot absorb without consequence. An impact to the legs, in particular, could end a cheetah's hunting career permanently. Despite this capability, the warthog consistently prefers to avoid direct engagement, moving through elephant grass that stands above head height, using the cover the landscape provides. The The group leader holds its slender tail at a precise 90-degree angle as it moves the dark tuft at the tip, marking its position above the grass like a signal flag, keeping the family oriented and connected across terrain where line of sight is frequently broken. In a landscape this chaotic, that continuous visual signal is what holds the group together, and cohesion here is survival. Because the cheetah is not the only predator working the shadows of this grassland. Which impresses you more, the cheetah's speed and hunting technique, or the warthog's defensive strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments. This ecosystem spans more than 30,000 square kilometers and sustains one of the densest concentrations of animal life anywhere on the planet. Close to 4,000 lions and 1,000 leopards move through it continuously, each playing their part in maintaining a balance that looks from the outside like chaos. Within this web, the warthog occupies a role that extends well beyond its own survival. Excavating in search of roots, it breaks up and aerates the compacted dry soil, creating the conditions in which vegetation can re-establish itself. The cheetah, for its part, consistently targets the weakest and least capable individuals within prey populations, applying a selective pressure that strengthens the genetic quality of the herds over time. Two quiet architects of the same system operating from entirely different positions within it. For the warthog, Serenera represents something close to a sanctuary, the geographic heart of the central Serengeti, where underground water flows continuously beneath the surface, regardless of what the dry season does above it. But even the most favored location within this landscape carries the same terms as everywhere else. Life here always has a price, and it is always paid in the same currency. Serenera is regarded as the operational center of Africa's most dangerous predators. Dominant lions, experienced, conditioned, and entirely without accommodation, hold this ground. In terms of raw speed, the lion is faster than many of its prey, capable of reaching 80 kilometers per hour in a short burst. But its relatively small heart and the density of its musculature cause its core temperature to climb rapidly, limiting that effort to approximately 200 meters before the body forces a reduction. The warthog is not built for sustained running either, but its compact frame combined with a breathing efficiency that manages heat more effectively allows it to hold its pace for longer than the lion can maintain its peak. Endurance, in this case, outlasts explosive power. After the sustained tension of a survival chase, the warthog enters one of the rare intervals of calm that this landscape allows. Near termite mounds or beneath low shrubs, a scene occasionally unfolds. It seems almost staged, a warthog standing completely still while a group of banded mongooses move systematically across its body. The image is unavoidably reminiscent of Timon and Pumbaa from The Lion King. But in the Serengeti, this is not an animation conceit. It is a functional biological relationship. The warthog, spending much of its time in contact with the ground and inside damp burrows, accumulates ticks, fleas, and lice at a rate that, left unaddressed, would progressively weaken it. These parasites feed on its blood, produce persistent irritation, and create pathways for serious disease transmission. Without regular cleaning, the warthog's condition would deteriorate faster than the landscape's other pressures would require. This is where the mongooses find their opportunity. The warthog's body represents a protein-dense foraging ground that requires no excavation to access. Every fold of skin, the interior surfaces of the ears, and even the recesses around the eyes are worked through with precision. The arrangement is so mutually functional that the warthog remains entirely still, allowing its small allies complete access to wherever they need to go. When that interval of calm ends, the transition back to the savanna's baseline reality is immediate. From a nearby shrub, a shadow has been holding its position for some time, a leopard. The warthog at this moment is unaware of the proximity of what is watching it. The leopard's eyes, operating with a sensitivity that exceeds human vision by a considerable margin, have already located the precise point they will target. When the distance drops below 5 meters, the interval between that moment and the outcome is negligible. Where the cheetah depends on speed developed across a long approach, the leopard is a different kind of machine entirely built from concentrated power and reflexes that operate below the threshold of conscious decision. It does not pursue over distance. Its attack is a single committed event. The claws held retracted until the final fraction of a second drive into the warthog's flank and provide the purchase needed to bring down an animal that may outweigh it. The hunt concludes almost before it is registered as having begun, but the leopard does not move immediately to feed. It waits until the prey has stopped breathing entirely. No sound, no disruption. Everything concludes in a cold and absolute silence. Like the cheetah, the leopard does not treat warthog burrows as obstacles to avoid. It treats them as tactical assets, positions from which to ambush without committing to any prolonged pursuit. Its reduced clavicle allows it to compress its shoulders and move through narrow ground-level spaces that most large predators cannot enter. But a successful kill does not guarantee a secure meal. Even in the most remote locations, where it attempts to keep its prey hidden, the forces that would take that prey are always operating. One of the hardest laws of this landscape asserts itself here without exception. The strongest takes what it wants. When a lion arrives at a leopard's kill, the leopard withdraws and does so quickly, leaving the meal partially consumed. Engaging is not a rational option. A male leopard weighs between 60 and 80 kilograms. A male lion can exceed 200 kilograms, approaching 3 times the mass. The difference in bite force alone is enough to end the question before it becomes a confrontation. This is the phenomenon ecologists describe as kleptoparasitism. Approximately 20% of all kills made by leopards are taken by lions or hyenas before the leopard can fully utilize them. For the lion, it represents a highly efficient energy strategy. The cost of obtaining a meal transferred entirely to another predator, while the lion simply waits for the right moment and collects. The cheetah, however, operates within a different set of conditions. On the southern plains, lions follow the migrations. Their presence is seasonal, not constant. The open, flat terrain of this region does not suit the lion's hunting approach. What it does suit completely and without qualification is the cheetah. This is the largest unobstructed pursuit ground on Earth, and within it, the cheetah has no serious competition for the role it occupies. Female cheetahs hunt Thompson's gazelles every day, without exception, to sustain cubs that are entirely dependent on them. The pressure of that requirement, the persistent hunger, the sound of cubs calling, the knowledge that a failed hunt has immediate consequences, demands a quality of concentration that leaves no margin for distraction. In this particular landscape, a single error is genuinely capable of being the last one. The survival rate for cheetah cubs in the Serengeti is approximately 5% to adulthood. Every pursuit is a wager in which there is no acceptable loss. The terrain denies the cheetah any concealment for its approach. Every hunt begins in open view of the target. Gazelles remain in a state of continuous alert, and their response to any triggering signal is immediate. They are not easy prey. They are not. At speeds approaching 80 kilometers per hour, with the ability to change direction without any reduction in pace, the cheetah is faster, but only briefly. Its heart reaches 250 beats per minute during a full sprint, and its core temperature climbs above 40 degrees Celsius. Beyond 60 seconds of maximum effort, the risk of neurological damage from overheating becomes real. Everything must resolve itself within that window. Today it has. But the recovery period that follows carries its own vulnerabilities. "20 minutes after the sprint, its temperature has not dropped to a level that allows any relaxation of vigilance. It lies across the hot grass, the kill in front of it, unable to begin feeding without first allowing the body to stabilize. It is in this posture, head up, eyes still tracking the surrounding area, sides still moving visibly, that the dark tear markings on its face are most clearly visible. Those lines running from the inner corner of each eye to the corners of the mouth reduce the glare of direct sunlight reaching the eyes during daylight hunts. But within the tradition of the Zulu people, those markings carry a different meaning entirely. They are described as the permanent traces of grief. The tears of a mother cheetah who lost her cubs to hunters and remained on a hillside weeping continuously until the tears had marked her face as permanently as any physical scar. It is a story about the depth of maternal love and about the kind of loss that does not heal. At its most vulnerable moment, a troop of baboons reads the situation and moves toward it. They approach in numbers and without any indication of hesitation. Canine teeth exceeding 5 centimeters in length emerge through the grass. A direct and unambiguous communication leave the kill. Directed by the dominant males, the troop begins to encircle a sustained, precisely calibrated psychological pressure that does not need to escalate into physical contact to be effective. The cheetah finds itself contained within the closing formation. What this moment exposes is the fundamental trade-off built into the cheetah's design. To become the fastest land animal on Earth, evolution sacrificed weight, bone density, and the musculature required for direct combat. Its skeleton is light, almost delicate relative to its size. Its claws are not designed for fighting. They are traction devices for running. It has no physical equipment for the kind of confrontation that is now being imposed on it. It is alone, and it understands what that means. A single injury to a leg would not simply end this hunt. It would likely end its ability to hunt at all. But beyond its own survival, the stakes extend further its cubs. If the baboons locate them, the outcome is not uncertain. These primates eliminate competitors without hesitation when the opportunity presents itself. The cheetah assesses the situation and arrives at the only conclusion available: engaging is not an option. Solitude is the structural weakness of the female cheetah. Among the males, the arithmetic is different. They form coalitions typically of 2 or 3 individuals, often brothers from the same litter, that fundamentally change what they are capable of hunting and holding. With that combined capability, they can commit to prey that no single cheetah could realistically attempt, including a full-grown blue wildebeest of the kind standing in front of them now. The numbers are significant. An adult wildebeest can reach 250 kilograms, 5 times the mass of an individual cheetah. Curved horns, hooves that can deliver serious impact, and a tough hide that absorbs punishment make it a genuinely dangerous target. For one cheetah, the attempt would be unrealistic. For the coalition, it becomes a problem of coordination rather than capability. One animal leads the frontal pursuit, drawing the wildebeest's energy and attention. The others move wide on the flanks, closing the available escape angles and working to separate the target from whatever collective protection the herd might offer. They rotate the lead. Throughout, no single animal carries the full metabolic cost of the pursuit, and the wildebeest is given no interval in which to recover its pace or reorient. The strategy resolves in the coalition's favor. They feed without urgency and without the anxiety of having to defend the kill against displacement. The alliance has provided something more valuable than any individual's speed: the ability to take time. The cheetah carries a reputation in the Serengeti for fragility and isolation. But when these animals combine their capabilities, even an animal built like a tank discovers that the open ground it trusted to protect it has become the terrain on which it was surrounded. The coalition is not a secondary adaptation. It is a weapon, and one that the rest of the Serengeti's predators would be unwise to discount. Could there exist somewhere on Earth a mammal still unknown to science that surpasses the cheetah's speed? It is a question worth sitting with. But the Serengeti does not belong exclusively to the cheetah or the lion. It is a dense, layered ecosystem in which every viable space is under continuous surveillance by something designed to exploit it. Among the most effective of them, and the most consistently misrepresented, is the spotted hyena. Set aside the caricature entirely. The hyena of the Serengeti is a precision hunting instrument. Its domed skull provides the structural foundation for jaw muscles of exceptional density and force. That bite can generate up to 5,000 newtons of force, exceeding the bite strength of both the lion and the leopard. The hyena's molars are conical in shape, engineered specifically for processing solid material that other carnivores cannot utilize. It is the only African mammal capable of fracturing the long bones of animals as large as buffalo or giraffe. Its digestive system carries hydrochloric acid at concentrations high enough to dissolve bone, teeth, and horn. When a hyena has finished with a carcass, the concept of remains barely applies. The characterization of the spotted hyena as primarily a scavenger has been comprehensively contradicted by long-term field research in the Serengeti. Between 70 and 95% of the hyena's food intake is obtained through active hunting. Rather than relying on explosive speed in the manner of the felids, it hunts through sustained cardiovascular output. Its heart, proportionally large, at close to 1% of its total body weight, sustains speeds of up to 60 kilometers per hour across distances of several kilometers without requiring recovery. The strategy is not to catch. It is to exhaust. But the physical capacity of the spotted hyena, formidable as it is, represents only part of what makes it one of the Serengeti's genuinely dominant species. The other part is its social structure. From before birth, elevated androgen levels in females produce animals that are larger, more aggressive, and socially dominant over all males within the clan. The lowest-ranking female outranks every male without exception. The social organization that results from this is built on alliances of a complexity that begins to resemble politics. The hyena's prefrontal cortex is highly developed relative to its body size, capable of strategic planning, relationship maintenance, and the retention of conflict history across extended periods. This is social intelligence at a level comparable to certain primates. When darkness arrives, the sound that carries across the savanna is not laughter in any human sense. It is communication carrying specific decodable information: age, social rank, emotional state. Short, high-pitched calls typically indicate acute stress or active competition over food. The moment of maximum tension in the hyena's world arrives with the lion. This conflict is not only about food, it is about ecological space, territorial boundaries, and the question of which species holds primary authority over a given area. Lions actively eliminate hyenas to reduce the competitive pressure they represent. The hyenas do not yield. They are the only species in this ecosystem that will confront a lion as a collective and at a numerical ratio of 4-to-1. A clan can overpower even a lioness or a young lion. The ongoing contest between these two species is what holds the Serengeti in the particular equilibrium. It occupies a balance maintained through continuous conflict, rather than through any settled arrangement. For those who find the hyena an unsympathetic animal, there is a story from the Khoi people worth considering. According to their tradition, the hyena's arched back and distinctive gait are not biological defects. They are the permanent marks of compassion. In an earlier time, the story holds the hyena had a perfectly proportioned body. Upon finding a small wounded bird, unable to move it, chose to carry it across the full breadth of the savanna in search of shelter, enduring the full weight of the sun throughout. The physical effort required to carry that small life was so sustained and so complete that the hyena's spine was permanently altered by it. The tradition holds this disfigurement as the evidence of a wholly selfless act, the total expenditure of one's own physical integrity in order to protect another. Beyond this war for ecological dominance, another figure moves quietly at the margins. And its presence in the Serengeti has become increasingly rare. The African wild dog is an apex predator now classified as endangered. It moves through its own territory with the quality of an animal that has been displaced from it, though nothing has formally displaced it. Each individual carries a coat of black, yellow, and white in combinations that are not repeated in any other member of the species. Do not allow the visual distinctiveness of that coat to mislead. In the fragmented, irregular light of the scrubland, it functions as highly effective camouflage. The large, rounded ears rotate independently and continuously functioning as directional receivers capable of isolating specific signals across considerable distances. The whole animal is a refined piece of evolutionary engineering, quiet, unpretentious in its behavior, and extraordinarily effective at what it does. The African wild dog is by any honest measure one of the most efficient hunters on the savanna. Where the lion succeeds in approximately 25 to 30% of its attempts, the wild dog achieves figures approaching 85%. Once a target has been selected and the pursuit committed to, the probability of escape approaches zero. Its strength is not physical power. It is discipline and endurance applied through coordination. The pack sustains speeds approaching 60 kilometers per hour across distances that exhaust most prey animals long before they exhaust the pursuers. The pack itself functions as a precision mechanism, the lid position rotating between members so that no individual accumulates a disproportionate share of the effort, while the target receives no interval of relief. Prey does not fall to a single decisive bite. It falls because it has nothing left. And when it goes down, the pace does not relax. The pack feeds rapidly, consuming what it can before the scent reaches the lions and hyenas that are always somewhere within range. The entire sequence, from the moment the prey drops to the moment the pack must consider moving, can be measured in minutes. The intensity of the hunt exists in complete contrast to the social life that surrounds it. Within the pack, altruism is not a behavioral anomaly. It is the operational principle. After every kill, stronger individuals regurgitate food for pups and for any member physically unable to participate in the hunt. The young eat before the adults. Injured members are not left behind. They are fed and protected until they recover. That depth of social bond is what holds the pack together under sustained adversity. It is also the source of the pack's central vulnerability. Unlike lions or hyenas, wild dogs cannot defend a fixed territory. Their only viable response to competition is perpetual movement. A single pack's range can extend across thousands of square kilometers. But the Serengeti is contracting. Agricultural expansion, human settlement, and shifting climate patterns are progressively closing the routes along which the packs move. These animals, whose coats make them among the most visually distinctive predators in Africa, are becoming harder to find with each passing season. And with each pack that disappears, something is removed from the functioning of this ecosystem that cannot simply be replaced. In the sections of the Serengeti covered by elephant grass, if the light conditions and angle are right, it is occasionally possible to make out a small predator that has positioned itself within the vegetation with a precision that makes it nearly invisible. The serval looks at first glance like an animal that was assembled from mismatched components, the legs of a gazelle attached to the body of a medium-sized cat. It is not a design error. It is a highly specific solution to the particular demands of hunting in dense tall grass. The serval carries the longest legs relative to body size of any member of the cat family. Those legs function as biological stilts, raising the animal above the level of the surrounding grass and allowing it to move through and observe terrain that would effectively blind any other felid. Its large oval ears rotate independently through up to 180 degrees, functioning less like passive hearing organs and more like active directional receivers, scanning for specific signals. As the sun withdraws from the vast Serengeti, the savanna folds back into the kind of stillness that conceals rather than rests. The golden light thins and fades, and with it the visible evidence of everything that has been decided across this landscape today. If you want to keep following the most intense stories the wild has to offer, subscribe to King Kong Planet TV and turn on the notification bell. Because in the Serengeti Kingdom's rise, they are challenged, and without exception, eventually they fall.